Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Gulfstream Park here on opening day of the championship meet. Here on Saturday, it is December the 3rd, 2016. We're going to look at all the stakes races on today's program. It is Claiming Crown Day, so races 3 through 11, so that's about 9 races we have to look at. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections from racetracks around the world. So let's get on to it. So races 3 through 11 I'll be looking at, all Claiming Crown races. Race number 3 from Gulfstream Park is the Claiming Crown Distaff Dash. It's a starter stakes here, going for a purse of $110,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Never started for a claim price of $25,000 or less since January the 1st of 2015. We have a field of 11 horses traveling the distance of ground of 5 furlongs on the turf course, the newly renovated turf course. They did give some work to it done, so it's going to be nice after a whole summer of racing on it. It gets eaten out after 10 straight months. So they'll be using the outer portion, 72 feet out from its true position, the rail. And my top pick in this one, I'm going to go to the 3-horse Forest Funds as a top pick. I'm going to go 3169. 3169 in the Super, but number 3, Forest Funds, 3-1. Edgar Zayas for Jorge Navarro. 5-year-old mare is coming off a layoff. Last start August the 14th at Monmouth, 5.5 furlongs in the Blue Sparkler Stakes. Horse finished 5th by 1 3/4 lengths that day. Was closing up a tiny bit, but had a horrible trip. Just was far back in a little bit of traffic trouble. Today, if this horse gets a clearer trip, I think this horse should do well. I think off the layoff, this horse should do well also. Start before at Suffolk, 5 furlongs on July 9th in a $75,000 stakes race. Horse won by 1 3/4 lengths that day. Took off clear, very nice driving victory. It was a little bit wide, but it was a very nice victory. Definitely was the best horse in the field that day. And then a Monmouth 5.5 furlongs, June the 11th in the Honeybee Stakes. Horse finished second by nose. Was closing out that day, but closed up a little bit too late, just finishing second by nose. I think he should do well here today at Gulfstream. 4-3 over the surface. Last start actually was his only loss at Gulfstream Park. March the 12th, 5 furlongs in the Captive Island Stakes. Horse finished 4th by 5.5 lengths, and just missed. He just had like I said, he just missed because he was stuck in a lot of traffic that day. But if he wasn't in traffic, I think he would have won that day also. Then start before February 25th here at Gulfstream Park, 5 furlongs, optional 6-2 claimer. Horse won by neck, closing up very well. Ran this race last year, but it was taken off the turf onto a good racetrack, and he finished 4th. I think he should do well here today. So I'm going to take my chances. So to recap my bets for race number 3 from Gulfstream Park, it's the Claiming Crown Distaff Dash. Going to go with the 3-horse Forest Funds. Going to go 3169. 3169. So now let's get on to race number 4 from Gulfstream Park. The 4th race is the Claiming Crown Rapid Transit Stakes. Star Stakes here, going for a purse of $110,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards. Never started for a claim price of $16,000 or less since January the 1st of 2015. We have a field of 11 horses traveling the distance of ground of 7 furlongs. 7 furlongs. And my top pick in this one, and I show that diagram, it gives me a second to look down at my notes, so that's why I do that. But my top pick in this one will go to the 1-horse, number 1, who is a horse. Well, I hope it is. Number 1, Day of Fury. Gonna go 1-3-4-6 in the Superfecta. 1-3-4-6 in the Superfecta. But number 1, Day of Fury, 5-1. Luis Saez for David Fox, who trains this 5-year-old gelding. Last time out, October the 12th at Gulfstream Park, West Calder, 7.5 furlongs at opposite 35 claimer. Horse finished 8th by 9.5 lengths that day. This horse isn't a turf horse. They ran him twice on turf and really just didn't finish. Finished nowhere basically. So you could throw that race out. It just wasn't his forte, the turf that day. Start before Gulfstream Park, 7 furlongs. First start on the surface, September the 15th, an optional 6-2 claimer. Horse finished 3rd by 3/4 of a length. Set the pace early on and weakened in the stretch run. He should improve off of that. Something I did notice, horses that were coming from Saratoga straight to Gulfstream Park, they needed a race. So I think he should do well here today with second Gulfstream Park. First off the layup, I think he should do well also. And then start before at Gulfstream Park. Excuse me, came to Saratoga, 6 furlongs, claiming 25,000. Horse finished second by 1 1/4 lengths that day. Set the pace early on. got taken over, but he fought back a little bit. That was a very nice little run. He likes one-turn races. He's going to do well with this 7 furlong distance for sure. He has some speed. Gulfstream Park is kind of a speed-favoring racetrack 'cause it does have a slightly shorter stretch than most mile and the eighth racetracks. So you want to be closer to the lead. I think he should do well here. 5-1, not a bad price either. So to recap my bets for race number 7 from Gulfstream Park, it's Claiming Crown Rapid Transit Stakes. Going to go with the one horse Day of Fury. Gonna do a superfecta here. 1-3-4-6. 1-3-4-6. So now let's get on to race number 5 from Gulfstream Park. The fifth race is the Claimant Crown Glass Slipper Stakes starter stakes here, going for a price of $110,000 for fillies and mares. 3-year-olds and upwards never start for a claim price of $12.50 or less since January the 1st of 2015. We have a field of 14 horses traveling a mile here. 1 mile. And my top pick in this one will go to the 8 horse, number 8, who is Concealed with a Kiss. I'm going to go 8-3-12-2. 8-3-12-2. Number 8, Concealed with a Kiss, 4-1. Last time out, ran a Calder, Gulfstream Park West, a mile November the 6th, in a Star Lounge race for 12.50. Horse finished 7th by 16 and a half lengths that day. I don't know if he liked Calder that day. He was the favorite and did not show up at all. He just weakened. Maybe the 2 turns he didn't like. I'm not sure. He's back to a 1 turn mile today. I think that should be the key, or she's back to a 1 turn mile today. So, I like that. But start before Calder, Gulfstream Park West Slop, 1 mile, October the 16th, an optional 12 claimer. Horse won by length that day. Stalked the lead and, got the lead and then took off clear. This horse does well over a wet course. So if the racetrack is wet, I think this horse should do well. And that was the horse's first start since August 28th at Gulfstream Park, 7 furlongs in the Ed Elegant Stakes. Horse finished 6th by 13 lengths against a little bit tougher crowd that day. Really didn't get into it. It's the start for an optional 12 claimer at Gulfstream Park, 1 mile, August the 11th. Horse won by 7.5 lengths. On the lead all throughout. Very easy victory. Gets Ruiz up today for the second time. Last time Ruiz rode this horse was in that Ed Elegant Stakes at the end of August here at Gulfstream. He finished 6th. So, normally Tyler Gaffalione rode this horse most recently. Tyler Gaffalione not riding this horse today. But, I think this horse should do well. Ran this race last year, but it's a very sloppy racetrack and had a horrible post position break from post position number 12. This horse finished 11th that day. It just really faded. Just the post position was bad. I think this horse should do a lot better with the position today in this race. So to recap my bets for race number 5 from Gulfstream Park, it's the Claiming Crown Glass Slipper Stakes. I'm going to go with the 8 horse Concealed with a Kiss. I'm going to go 8-3-12-2. 8-3-12-2. So now let's get on to race number 6 from Gulfstream Park. Sixth race is the Claiming Crown Express Stakes. It's a starter stakes here, going for a price of $110,000 for 3-year-olds, which have never started for a claim price of $8,000 or less lifetime. We have a field, 14 horses, very nice field of 14 horses, traveling the distance of ground of 6 furlongs here. 6 furlongs. And my top pick in this one will go to the 5 horse, number 5, who is Mitos y Lendas. Gonna go 5-8-9-6. 5-8-9-6. Number 5, Mitos y Lendas. 8-1. Luis Saez on this 4-year-old gelding. But last time out, this horse ran a Calder at Gulfstream Park West. 6 furlongs, November the 6th, and the Star Allowance race for 8,000. Horse finished third by 3 lengths that day. A lot of the horses that day used this race as a prep race, but this horse was just wide. It was closing up a tiny bit, but needed a little extra kick. This horse, he likes sprinting. He could, if he wants to use his speed, he could go to the set the pace. But something this horse does well. He's sitting off the pace like 3rd or 4th and closing up. I think he should sit 3rd or 4th today, and then he should do well. That's the same exact thing he did last time he ran here at Gulfstream Park. 6 furlongs, September the 24th, an optional 10 claimer. Horse won by half length that day. Was a little bit wide, but closed up incredibly well. Just a very nice victory. First start off the layoff. Start before it came June 26th at Gulfstream Park. 6.5 furlongs in the Sea of Grass Stakes. Horse finished 5th by 2 3/4 lengths. Was close to the leaders that day and then weakened. But the 2nd and 3rd place finishers were both winners next start out, including with this horse who finished 5th also. So that was a pretty tough race. But I really think this horse should do well. 14-8 here at Gulfstream Park. So watch out for this horse to run a good one here at 8-1. I'm going to take my chances. So to recap my bets, race number 6 from Gulfstream Park, it's the Claiming Crown Express. I'm going to go with the 5 horse Mitos Lendas. Gonna go 5896, 5896. So now let's get on to race number 7 from Gulfstream Park. Seventh race is the Claiming Crown Iron Horse. It's a starter stakes here, going for a purse of $110,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards. Never started for a claim price of $8,000 or less lifetime. Another race, 14 horses traveling a mile and 1/16th on the Gulfstream Park main track. Remember, they are using the alternate finish line. That's the finish line down the at the 16th pole. So you have a very short stretch. Normally, the stretch is it's Gulfstream Park is a weird racetrack because you have a very short stretch for a mile and eighth track. You cannot you have to it's something you have to emphasize a lot because you look at another mile and eighth track. Let's say Aqueduct. Aqueduct has a pretty long stretch. Another mile and eighth track, Arlington, nice long stretch. Gulfstream has the stretch is only about an eighth of a mile. They have huge turns, short stretch. So you want to be you're going to see a lot of moving on the turns at Gulfstream Park, not in the stretch. Because deep closure, you don't really see that at Gulfstream Park. So especially in these mile and the 16th races, you want to be a speed kind of horse at a mile and the 16th. And in this one, I went to the 10 horses top pick. Bad pose vision, but I think he should do if he breaks good and gets to the front, I think he should have a good trip. I'm going to go 10-1-7-12 here in the Claiming Crown Iron Horse. But number 10, Rich Daddy, 92. Jaramillo's on this 5-year-old gelding, reported gelding on the 8th of August of 2013. But last time out, Rich Daddy ran at Calder, Gulfstream Park West, mile 16th, November the 6th, in a star allowance race for 8,000. Horse finished third by 4 1/4 lengths that day. Was really, just stalking the pace that day. It's the horse's first start off a layoff. Really didn't have the best of closing kicks. Second off the layoff, I think this horse do well. Like I said before, you want to be on the lead or a little bit closer to the lead. You want to be on or just off it, the lead. I think this horse could sit right off the lead and do well. But start before this horse ran at Gulfstream Park mile, an optional 10 claimer. Horse finished fifth by 4 3/4 lengths that day. Just really didn't do anything at all. Didn't show up. Didn't close anything. He just wasn't himself that day. But then August 5th at Gulfstream Park mile, an optional 6-2 claimer. Horse finished third by 8 lengths. The first two finishers were both winners next start out, but he was closing up a little bit, but needed a little extra kick. Last time this horse ran around 2 turns was in the Grade 3 skip away at Gulfstream Park mile and 8th on the slop on April the 2nd. Horse finished 6th by 21 3/4 lengths that day. Just wasn't there that day. On a sloppy racetrack, this horse is 5-1, so he doesn't really like it. But start before it came here at the mile 16th at Gulfstream Park in the Rough and Ready Stakes for restricted horses. Horse won by 3/4 of a length. A very nice victory, breaking from the rail. So he's a course and distance winner. I think this horse should have a good run here today. So to recap my bets for race number 7 from Gulfstream Park, it's the Claiming Crown Iron Horse. Gonna go with the 10 horse Rich Daddy. Gonna go 10-1-7-12. 10-1-7-12. So now let's get on to race number 8 from Gulfstream Park. The 8th race is the Claiming Crown Canterbury Stakes. Starter stakes here, going for a purse of $110,000 for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never started for a claim price of $25,000 or less since January the 1st of 2015. We have a field of 13 horses. 13 horse is an also eligible main track only, so only 12 can run, traveling 5 furlongs on the turf course. 5 furlongs. And my top pick in this one, the rail will be at 0 feet. They'll be using the inner portion of the turf course. But my top pick in this one will go to the 7 horse here. Number 7, Partly Mocha at 6-1. Gonna go 7-3-4-11. 7-3-4-11 here in the Canterbury. But number 7, Partly Mocha, 6-1. Julian Leperoux from Mike Maker, the 7-year-old gelding owned by the Ramseys. Last time out, ran at Churchill Downs, 5 furlongs, November the 23rd, an optional 6-2 claimer. First start since last April. Horse won by 3/4 length that day. Was closing up very well. Closed from quite out of it, and just won by 3 quarters length. Very nice race back. This horse was the best horse in the field, and he proved it. Start before on April 23rd at Charlestown, 7 furlongs in the Confucius Say Stakes. Horse finished second by 2 3/4 lengths, and this horse was a little bit wide, and closed up for second. That racetrack is not a closing race. You want to be near the front that day. This horse is a closer, so he didn't really do well that day. And then start before at the fairgrounds, 5.5 furlongs, optional 40 claimer. Horse finished third by 2 1/4 lengths. That was just wide and really had a bad break. He just needed a better break that day to save some ground. But this horse has run here at Gulfstream Park in the past. He's 3-2 over it. His last start at Gulfstream Park was a loss though. That was a 5 furlongs option 25 claimer on December 30th. Horse finished third by 2.5 lengths that day as a favorite. Had a horrible trip. Was closing up that day, but just had to veer out of traffic and stuff. This horse has a better trip today. I think this horse could win 6-1. I want to take my chances with this horse. So to recap my bets for Rosenberry from Gulfstream Park, it's the Claiming Crown Canterbury. Gonna go with the 7 horse Partly Mocha. Gonna go 7-3-4-11. 7-3-4-11. So now let's get on to race number 9 from Gulfstream Park. The ninth race is the Claiming Crown Tiara Stakes. It's a starter stakes here, going for a purse of $125,000. She fills and mares, 3-year-olds, and upwards never started for a claim price of $25,000 or less since January the 1st of 2015. We have a field of 16 horses. 15 and 16 are main track onlys, or also eligibles, I shall say. Traveling a mile 16th, route 72 feet from its true position. So they'll be using the outer portion of the turf course. And my top pick in this one will go to the 7 horse here, number 7, Marabia. Gonna go 7-11-8-4, 7-11-8-4. Number 7, Marabia, 12-1. Jose Lascano on this 4-year-old filly. Last time out, ran at Laurel on 16th November the 6th in a Star Alliance race, 25,000. This horse won by 1/4 lengths, closing up very well. First start since September the 2nd. It was a very nice all-around victory. This horse used to be it was actually a placed Group 3 horse in Italy in 2014, but this horse really went downhill after that. He came to America in July of 2015, running at Delaware Park in a lounge race. He won by 2 lengths that day, and then he didn't win until basically 6 weeks ago, or a month ago at Laurel. But he ran the Grade 2 Sands Points 2015, finished 10th that day, 9th in Stella Shiraz Stakes over at Calder, fixed 6th in a lounge race at Tampa, and then he just wasn't doing well. Then they dropped this horse down to a claiming race down at Saratoga, mile 16th inner turf course, time the second, and a claim of 25,000. Horse finished second by 2 lengths. He stalked the second. He was basically second all throughout, and we just couldn't catch the winner, who's back in this run today. But he got claimed out of that race to get to the new owners here today. And I personally think, with the drop down in class, I think this horse will run a good one here today. Because his the last two weren't really bad, where he dropped in the claiming price. He was, and if you look at those optional claimers he was running in lounge races, they were very tough races. So I think, like I said, in this spot, I think he should do well. 12-1 is a great price on this one. So to recap my bets for race number 9 from Gulfstream Park, it's the Claiming Crown Tiara. Going to go with the 7-horse Marabia. Going to go 7-11-8-4. 7-11-8-4. So now let's get on to race number 10 from Gulfstream Park. 10th race is the big one. It is the Claiming Crown Jewel Stakes. Starter stakes here, going for a price of $200,000 for 3-year-olds. An unfortunate start for a claim price of $35,000 or less since January the 1st of 2015. We have a field of 9 horses traveling the distance of ground of a mile and 1/8 here. Traveling a mile and 1/8 here in the Claiming Crown Jewel at Gulfstream Park. And my top pick in this one will go to the 3-horse here, number 3, Royal Posse. Gonna go 3-1-8-2, 3-1-8-2, and the Jewel, number 3, Royal Posse. And if you're playing a multi-race wager, I think you could say the other races are very deep. This one is not nearly as deep, so I would possibly single Royal Posse if you're playing pick 4, pick 5. So 3-1-8-2, number 3. Royal Posse, 75. Louis Saez on this 5-year-old gelding. Reports a gelding on the 14th of December of 2014. Last time out, this horse ran at Belmont Park here in New York on the slot, mile and 1/8, October 22nd, in the Empire Classic Handicap. Horse won by 3.5 lengths that day. He just ran incredibly well. He loves a wet racetrack, and it was just an all-around very good victory. First start in over 40 days also. Start before it came September the 2nd of Saratoga, Mile Nathan, the Shipman Stakes. Horse won by 5.25 lengths, closing up very, very well. He just had an all around very nice victory. And then in the Alydar Stakes for restricted horses, Saratoga, Mile Nathan on August 7th. Horse won by 1.25 lengths. A very nice victory also against restricted horses. Like I said, before that, he was running with. Um, what do you call those? With state bred New York horses, but that race is very very nice, and you probably got the best odds you got on him this year at 6-1. But he did win this race, Royal Posse, last year at Gulfstream Park, on the totally sloppy racetrack with Javier Castellano up that day. This horse won by 2.5 lengths, broke from the outside, but got over easy. Just had a very nice move at the 7/16 pole and then went clear. Just an all-around great victory in the dark. I think this horse will run well here today. Had a decent season. He's 8-4 this year, 4 wins, 4 seconds. So he hasn't finished he hasn't finished out of the money, hasn't finished below third, so below second or whatever. But I think this horse will have a great run here today. Definitely the best horse in the field. Definitely have the best season of any horse in the field. So to recap my bets, race number 10 from Gulfstream Park, it's the Claim Crown Jewel. Gonna go with the 3-horse Royal Posse. I'm going to go 3-1-8-2. 3-1-8-2 in the Jewel. So now let's get on to race number 11 from Gulfstream Park. The 11th race from Gulfstream Park is the Claiming Crown Emerald. It's Star Stakes here, going for a purse of $125,000. For 3-year-olds and upwards, never start for a claim price of $25,000 or less since January the 1st of 2015. Field of 16 horses to 15 and 16 are also eligibles. Traveling a mile 16th on the turf course, they'll be using the inner portion of the turf course since the rail's at 0 feet. 1 1/16 of a mile. It's about 1,700 meters. And my top pick in this one, I'm going to go to the 4-horse Keystone for victory as a top pick. I'm going to go 4-8-3-7, 4-8-3-7 in the nightcap. The number 4 Keystone for victory, 8-1. Jose Ortiz for Mike Maker. Last time out, this horse ran across town at Gulfstream Park West Calder, November the 5th, 1 mile in the Showing Up Stakes. Horse finished third by 5.5 lengths off the layoff. It was closing up a little bit, but he needed the race. He was the 5-2 favorite. I think he should improve off that. Start before at Delaware Park, mile 8, July 16th in the Grade 3 Kent Stakes. Horse finished 5th by 7.25 lengths behind American Patriot, who ran the race by winning it, ran the race in track record time of 1:47. He just couldn't keep up with him. Was with the leaders early on, stalking it, but just really weakened at the end. It was a disappointing run. And then last start locally at Gulfstream Park came mile 16, June the 18th in the 49er Stakes. Horse won by 3.25 lengths that day. On the lead all throughout, very easy victory. This horse at Gulfstream Park is 4-3. He's done well over the surface. He is a perfect kind of running style to sit off the pace. Watch out for this horse to run a good one here today. He's owned by the Ramseys. Ramseys are really loaded for this card. So to recap my bets for race number 11 from Gulfstream Park, it's the Claiming Crown Emerald. Gonna go with the 4-horse Keystone for victory. Gonna put him into a superfecta here. Gonna go 4-8-3-7. 4-8-3-7. So good luck to all, and follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.